She was perfectly steady on her feet, but it was good for leaning on now and then, and certainly for poking things or people. The implication that she needed assistance made Emily's servants more attentive toward her. "Yes, indeed," she went on. The butler picked up the parcel, which seemed to require some effort. He carried it carefully across the hall toward the door to Maria's quarters. She had hoped there might be a letter for her, or better still, a Christmas card. But her disappointment was almost swallowed up by her curiosity as to what this heavy parcel might contain. She walked behind him out of the hall and along the passage to her own sitting room, where he set the parcel down on the table. "Would you care for me to open it, Mrs. Ellison?" he asked. It did look particularly well sealed, and was tied with several rounds of string. "Yes, please." Her hands were a little arthritic. She was bound to be far slower than he, and by now she could hardly wait to know what was inside all this paper and string. The butler produced a small penknife from his pocket and opened it to cut through the string, then the paper. She watched him with fascination. There seemed to be layers and layers of strong brown paper around whatever it was. But finally, the last layer was undone, and they both stood staring at a round, dark brown Christmas pudding. It was ordinary, totally traditional, with a flattened leaf of holly on the top. She could smell the richness of it now that the wrapping was off. "Very nice, ma'am," the butler said, looking at the pudding, then up at her. "I'm just surprised at how heavy it felt. Would you like me to take it to the kitchen, ma'am? You'll be wanting to keep it until the day." She frowned. Who on earth would send her a Christmas pudding? There must be a note somewhere. She stepped forward to lift the pudding. "Good gracious!" she exclaimed. "It feels like lead. What on earth have they put in it?" "Indeed it does, ma'am," he agreed. Curiosity overwhelmed her. She went to the sideboard drawer and took out a knife. She poked the pudding, and within an inch or less met with total resistance. "May I help, Mrs. Ellison?" the butler offered. She did not need a butler's help to cut a Christmas pudding. She jabbed the knife hard and achieved nothing at all. Whatever was blocking it was absolutely solid. Very gently he took the knife from her and tried his own hand at it. He also got no farther than the first inch. He stopped, uncertain what he should do. Maria reached out, took the knife from him, and determinedly cut a couple of inches away from the original place. She met with the same resistance and started to knock the pudding off, away from whatever the obstruction was. The butler stared in amazement as she slowly uncovered a totally spherical ball of lead, about 7 or 8 inches in diameter. "What on earth is that?" he asked. Maria felt a sudden chill of memory. Indistinct, just sadness and fear. It was absurd. "It looks like a cannonball," she said, a little tartly. "Except it is too small to be a real one." She poked at it again, and then pushed to see if it would roll. It was solid and too heavy to do more without a considerable effort behind the push. "Is it one of those ornamental ones?" the servant asked, staring at it. His face creased with puzzlement. Inside her mind, the memory was suddenly complete. That is exactly what it was. An ornamental cannonball, made of lead, just as the real ones were. No wonder it was extraordinarily heavy. She stared at it, as if mesmerized, while waves of the past engulfed her like a cold sea. "Are you all right, Mrs. Ellison?" he said with concern. "Would you like to sit down? I'll take this away and fetch you a cup of tea." "No," she said quickly. Then, remembering the new person she had determined to be, she added, "Thank you. You might look to see if..."